If you already watched The Expanse and The Dark and want more original sci-fi shows with unique stories, stunning visuals, and unusual characters, then our list is for you. We will show you hidden gems of the genre, from sci-fi comedies to thrillers from America to Japan. So let's start. First, there are some honorable mentions, the shows that have great ideas or interesting characters, but unfortunately don't quite come together. Do you want a story about salesmen selling property on the moon? Then Hello Tomorrow is for you. It has an unusual concept and visually compelling style similar to Fallout World, but the story loses its way in the middle, unfortunately.
Brighter Tomorrow doesn't start when you land on the moon, it starts today.
1889 is the show created by the team behind The Dark. It has similar mind-bending plot, but there is only one season, and not all the mysteries will be solved. The Peripheral is the show produced by Westworld creators Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. It is a sci-fi thriller which mixes real world with virtual reality. Sometimes it works great, while other times its overcomplicated nature gets in the way.
98%.
98%, c'est très bien. Donne, ça ira.
Ben non, 2%, c'est 2%. Tous les rochers seront pas chargés, il y aura des trous dans les rochers, c'est nul.
Mais Agathe, je m'en fous des rochers. La scène de crime, elle est chargée.
Ouais, bien sûr, c'est ce qui charge en premier.
Bon, bah alors, c'est très bien, on va pas attendre les poissons non plus, donne.
Ben, il y aura pas tous les rochers. T'es chiant.
Our first pick is a French sci-fi show set in near future. Main character, the police captain Ludovic in the French city of Brest, lost the love of his life, Melanie, 27 years ago in a tragic accident. But while studying a reconstructed VR crime scene, he stumbles upon a time warp that turns his life upside down. Thanks to a glitch, he's able to communicate with Melanie just a few days before her death.
On va pas venir te plaindre s'il y a des glitches.
Je sais pas ce que c'est, des glitches.
Bah, tu le sauras quand tu les verras. Tu fais gaffe, c'est du matos tout neuf.
Tout ce fric dépensé dans la VR, sans déconner.
C'est vrai qu'on aurait peut-être pu en garder un peu pour t'envoyer chez le coiffeur.
Je suis pas sûr que t'aies le droit de la faire, cette vanne, non?
Trying desperately to save her, Ludovic risks losing his own life in the present, along with his wife and their son. Vortex is a brilliant show that innovates sci-fi genre. It is an extremely gripping investigation, partly rolled out in the virtual world, that captures us and takes us on a journey through plot twists, superb acting, and touching love story.
They're worried you can predict the future.
They're worried people believe I can. They don't like the future I predict.
Which is what?
Trantor is going to be destroyed. The Empire will fall. You understand? These aren't things I'm anxious to tell people. It's just what the math tells me.
Foundation is an adaptation of a dense book series by Isaac Asimov. However, the show does something rather unusual for adaptations. Instead of faithfully recreating its source material, it uses Asimov's texts as inspiration for a markedly different version, remixing characters, settings, and themes into something more timely and fitting for television. The one character who remains largely unchanged is the most pivotal figure in the books, Harry Seldon. He is a mathematician who kickstarts the story, after calculating that the end of the galaxy, as everyone knows it, is nigh.
Consider recent events in the Outer Reach.
We're not here to consider any other...
But you must! The Empire will fall. Order will vanish. Interstellar wars will be endless. 10,000 worlds reduced to radioactive cinders. Nothing we do can prevent this.
He, like most brilliant academics, has a healthy ego and loves the sound of his own voice. And Jared Harris is perfect in this role. In a particularly smart twist on the source material, Show takes Asimov's almighty Emperor Cleon and quite literally clones him into 3 different versions of himself. They are an intriguing way to interpret modern crises through the perceptive lens of science fiction. Taking on material as wide-ranging as Asimov's Foundation, which spans generations, millennia, and entire galaxies, is a difficult task. And while the sheer scope of it is daunting, it's remarkable that the show is organized enough that its frequent jumps through time and space rarely confuse. Instead, Foundation quickly makes the case for being one of TV's most expansive sci-fi epics.
You ready to do this?
I always hope that my last words might be better than fuck me, no. I don't know how to attach the tether.
There should be an instruction panel right in front of you.
To attach your safety tether, simply grasp the narrow end of the clamp to release the G-catch. There. It wasn't so hard, was it? Well, you fucking try it.
Okay, it's a spacewalk, so walk.
Want something lighter? Armando Iannucci, the brilliant mind behind Veep, created another comedy about the failures of leadership, this time with a sci-fi twist.
Is the ship breaking down?
Are we safe?
I am as ignorant as you. That sounds rude. I meant it to be self-deprecating.
I can't find my daughter. She was on the bridge wearing the captain's hat.
Okay, well, those hats are reinforced and they protect your head, so... Oh, you have the hat.
This show often feels like a spoof of franchises like Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica, but reimagined by the team behind the thick of it. Avenue 5 draws a straight line from our reality to a hyperbolic future. The show set 40 years in the future and takes place on Avenue 5, a spaceship that is essentially a high-stakes luxury cruise. It's set to orbit around Saturn while offering typical amenities like spas, high-end restaurants, and group yoga. And of course, things go quickly, ridiculously, horribly awry.
At a new journey time, 3 years to get home.
The show doesn't have high count of laps per minute, but be patient, and you'll find that it develops into its own bizarre creation.
Let's all take a second here, all right? Sounds like we got a few to play with.
We've got this. Yeah.
This may be the worst disaster since Google folded.
They'll figure this out. You know, they turned the moon into a massive jail. They patented the liquid glove. How hard could it be to reset a course?
The anime, the film, and now TV show, this popular time-traveling Japanese drama, is our next pick. The main character, Satoru, is a manga artist. He is struggling to get his art published and so forced to work at a pizza chain. It's not long into his latest delivery that he literally breaks through time. Now, when something bad happens, he is sent back a few minutes by an unknown force to set things right. The show jumps between time periods and indeed actors, with 2 different performers playing Satoru. It sounds like a series that would be difficult to keep up with, doesn't it? But the narrative elements are gradually introduced and the characters are well established, making time transitions easy. For a story with so much emphasis on love and trust, it is crucial that the affection between characters rings true. And it really does. You'll not only want to know how these clever stories tie together, you will care what happens to the characters.
This is a special way of being afraid. No trick dispels. Religion used to try. That vast moth-eaten musical brocade created to pretend we never die. And specious stuff that says no rational being can fear a thing it will not feel.
The genius behind Annihilation, Alex Garland, brings his brand of highly philosophical and intellectual sci-fi to television. The idea that the technology industry has the power through acts of creative destruction, build a new world, and eventually supplanting it, has been fruitful territory for films and TV. Indev's The main plot is the story of a young woman, Lily, who investigates the apparent suicide of her boyfriend. It happened shortly after he starts working as a developer at Dev's division of a seemingly omnipotent corporation called Amaya. Lily's quest leads her into collision with the Amaya leadership, and exact nature of the tech research in Devs unfolds slowly. The show feels more like a 70s conspiracy thriller rather than a traditional sci-fi. There are covert meetings under bridges and in parking garages, and bursts of shocking violence. It's a deep, dark, and wild ride. How much of it deals in pure imagination, and how much of it is grounded in stuff already here, we don't want to know. This show will remind you even more of the present. Based on pre-COVID novel, the story of Station 11 is about the viral plague that decimates the world's population too quickly for any response. The show depicts both the first moments of global spread and the state of things 20 years on, in a hard world where humanity's remnants seek moments of poetry. An actor, Kirsten, who lived through the flu crisis as a child, journeys through the Midwest with her performance troupe, the Travelling Symphony. The symphony's performances maintain a link to the past, pushing away for a moment the narrowness and constraint of life after plague. Station 11 conjures its mood well. Existence after the plague is conveyed as both perilous and painfully boring. Working together, the symphony finds a strange joy in living through the end times. The depiction of theatrical performance here is moving, suggesting a power in connection through storytelling that sustains under the worst of circumstances.
We invite the Travelling Symphony to visit us at the Museum of Civilization.
What's the Museum of Civilization?
A place that values human culture and the past.
Fuck the past. We never leave the wheel.
Created by Legion producer Nathaniel Halpern and based on the works of Swedish artist, this show is fascinating to look at. The series, an anthology, takes place in a small town that is home to a mega machine. Its purpose remains unclear. We follow various citizens, including a young girl whose mother goes missing, a married couple, and a board functionary whose life suddenly takes a sharp turn into surreal. The show is concerned with the emotional impact, raising the sort of universal questions that may cause us to lie awake at night. Are there parallel planes of existence? What would you do if you met yourself? What follows is a tender drama that feels like a play, devoted mostly to loneliness and characters that yearn for connection. While the show is set in motion by a disappearance, it's really about distance. The slow stories about how technology was never going to fix us, no matter how promising it seems. We still have to take the slow route and try to fill the void in ourselves by reaching out to others.
Told you. Haunted.
Tell us in the comments, what is your favorite underrated show? Did you watch shows on our list? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.